conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. She's a book marketing expert, worked for over 20 years in both traditional publishing and self-publishing, and present a hard-won and unique perspective to books and publishing. Other than Miss Sarah Bean.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Yes, once again, Miss Sarah. Welcome on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Oh, absolutely. So, my name's Sarah Bean. I'm head of partnerships and the marketing professional at Book Launchers. We're a full service self publishing company. We work with hundreds of authors to publish their nonfiction book. And I've been in publishing in some capacity or another for over 20 years, as you stated, both on the traditional and the self publishing sides.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Sarah. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. So it's great to
Yes,
chat.
likewise. So let's talk about the 7 steps to finding a new audience without spending odd dollars. Oh, we love that. Miss Sarah, we love that. So you
Hmm.
argue the single biggest waste of time for, well, finding to promote our books or something that we need to promote. What are your first step?
Are we looking at the single biggest things to avoid or the most important things to put in place?
Can we do both?
We can do both, absolutely.
Yeah, please. Thank
so,
you.
so really, the first thing to put in place, I think, has to be what you are the answer to. You need to understand whether you're an author or you're building a brand or you're a content creator, people react really well to what is that one thing that you're solving for them. So when you
Hmm.
define how you are the answer to that one question, what is the one question that your content or your book or your services answer? It's going to make everything so much easier because then your website aligns with that, your book aligns with that, all everything that you're putting out, it all falls under that lens. And the nice thing that we're finding is that with the rise of AI and LLM models recommending people to others, when you have that clarity in your content, it automatically gives you authority. You start getting recommended, you start getting discovered. And so really that is a first step when you're putting content out, is to identify what question you're answering. Now, if we're going to move over to the things that you should avoid, oh my goodness. Well, I could talk about this all day. But
To avoid, go ahead, Miss Sarah.
yes, I mean, I just think some of the things that you need to avoid are trying to do too many things at once. A lot of authors that are out there have so many choices in front of them in terms of, do I spend money on ads? Do I invest in a big expensive PR firm? Like, how many giveaways do I need to do? How many partnerships do I need to have? Avoid trying to do too many things at once. Choose the one thing that is going to work towards your goal and spend your time and energy there. Once you've gotten a little that under control, then you can turn your attention to the next thing. But I think the sort of shiny squirrel of everything is trying to be everything all at once.
Hmm. Baby step, people, once at a time. Don't be
Hmm.
overwhelmed. So, Miss Sarah, tell us the 7 steps. Can you give us the first one?
Excuse me. Well, that first one is the one that I mentioned, becoming the answer to the one question. And that really becomes the linchpin of all of your messaging pillars. It it is if you can be the answer to a question. Beyond that, there are quite a there I can go through all seven. You want like just a high level of all seven, or you want me to break down
Yes.
each one?
Can you break it down for us,
I can
please?
break it down. Specifically for authors, the next most important thing to finding new audiences without spending a lot of money is looking at your metadata. Metadata is all of the behind the scenes information that teaches Amazon, retailers, libraries, where your book belongs. Okay, so that's going to be the title, the subtitle, the physical attributes to the book, but it's also the keywords that your book that need to be assigned to your book in order for people to discover it. And so checking on your metadata, checking to see how strong it is, how secure it is, how it aligns with what readers are actually looking for now is step one. And that's something that can be done quickly, under an hour, and it can have dramatic impact on your discoverability. We've already talked a little bit about the being the answer to the question, but what I want to emphasize there is when you have identified what you are the answer to, that content should be everywhere. It should be in your bios. It should be on your website. It should be in your book description. It should be everywhere that it can so that you have continuity between all the places that you're showing up in the marketplace. Moving on to some of those next steps to finding an audience. One of the big ones that I think a lot of authors discount is that ability to build a community. We really find that the future of publishing is going to be in connection and developing relationships between the content and the reader. And so by building a community, you are opening a doorway for your audience to be able to go deeper, learn more, and engage with like-minded people. And a community doesn't have to be running a 1,500 person, school platform, forum. It can be, you can start small. You can start with small groups in your area. You can start with just maybe little cohorts or 30-day challenges. Find the format that's going to match your brand and your style. Don't think that you have to launch, okay, if I don't have 5,000 people that are actively involved in my challenge, I've failed. No, start with little steps and give your reader that opportunity to connect to others who are also interested in the content, and it's going to go a long way. So you want me to keep going? I can keep going. I got a few more for you.
Very well said, Miss Sarah. Very well said. So you're talking to a business owner who built their audience in 2018 to 2020. What is the consistent blogging and organic social? They are doing the same thing in 2026, and it is stopped working. They assume they are doing it wrong. Or what do you say to them about what is actually changed in the architecture of discovery?
Well, the interesting thing is that it is a drastically different scene in 2026 than it was in 2020. Not
Mhm.
only from how we as consumers take in new content and discover new influencers or business, but also in the fact that with AI, everything has shifted on how people discover things. So you
True.
have to be willing to adapt. It's not that blogging is no longer effective. You need to take a look at how people are discovering blogs. Maybe all of your readers or all of your potential customers are on a platform that you haven't gone to yet. Maybe they've stopped reading blogs and now they're just getting audio content. How is your target customer or target reader actually discovering you? That is going to help you shape that new approach. Now, I will say blogs are having their comeuppance again. They're coming back up into fashion. There was a time where it kind of plateaued and they weren't as effective any longer. But now there are platforms like Substack or others where people are really starting to discover those fresh indie voices again. So I encourage you to just really take a look at your ideal reader, customer, client, and identify where are they getting their content and then sort of shape accordingly. The other thing that I will say about that is that what we are finding is that it's no longer a one pronged approach to discovering a new audience. You now want to have a well rounded approach. Mix in the blogs with some video content, mix that video content in with some podcasts, mix the podcasts in with, text content. You want to have a well rounded approach so that, again, going back to that AI discoverability, you are building authority in all of those channels, and AI knows exactly who you are and what you're the authority of so that they can recommend you to others.
Well said, Miss Sarah. As usual, Sprout Social's data shows that the brand saw a 20% year over year jump in inbound engagement, yet organic reach is declining. This is the paradox of 2026. People are engaging more, but you are reaching fewer of them. What's actually happening inside the algorithms, and what does this gap tell us about who is seeing your content and who is not?
I mean, that's a really good question. I wish that I had the key to algorithms. I don't, but what I can talk about is what I've witnessed, which is it is correct. Organic traffic is getting harder and harder to capture. What we are seeing is that certain types of content may be stifled while others are growing. Um, I want to, and depending on the channel that you're on, some of those algorithms are stronger than others. For example, if you're on Threads being Meta's answer to X, it tends to have a very strong algorithm. Whereas you put in one type piece of content, you're going to get a ton back just like that. So what I do tend to find is that creators who do well are ones that are mixing it up. They aren't consistently just doing one thing. Maybe they are, as I mentioned, doing videos, doing blogs, doing a little bit of everything. Um, I would also say that it would be even more important than ever to try and funnel those social media followers into an email list, because that email list is something that can't be suppressed. It's not going to be a victim to how the algorithms portray you. So, by funneling everyone into an email marketing list and being able to communicate that way, you're actually reaching your audience as opposed to hoping that the algorithm is on your side that day.
Interesting, Miss Zara. Let's talk about rank math reports that 58.5% of searches now end without a click, and click through rates for AI. Overview queries have dropped by nearly two-thirds. Google
Mhm.
is now answer engine, not a search engine. What does this mean for a fundamental premise of attracting an audience through organic search, and what does replace it?
I mean, I think you called it out right there, is that the click through rate has dropped dramatically, because at any point now someone can go to Google, put in a question, and instead of getting lists of maybe somewhat relevant websites, you get your answer right there at the top. You don't need to engage any further. And so that really changes the strategy on how people are going to get more traffic onto their website. And so, one of the things that I highly recommend is, instead of focusing on the traffic that's coming to you, focus on building authority. And when I talk about building authority, I mean putting the strategic pieces in place so that when someone puts forth that question and you are the answer to that question, you become the first thing that those answer engines put in front of them. So, ways to do this include, not only what I already talked about, which is the consistency between your bio, your website, your product pages, and everything else that might be relevant to you, but it's also on putting out that consistent content where you are putting forth that message. That could be podcast interviews. It could be well placed articles. It could be press releases. It could be videos. But the important thing to look at now is that, because it's answer engine optimization, you need to have your answers right there within your content so that AI can look at it, cross check it, guarantee your authority, trust your authority, and then put that answer in front of people. Now, ideally, one of the great things that I do see Google do is, they are going to link right back to their source. They didn't used to do that. Now they are actually putting within that answer engine optimization, putting the sources of where they got their material right there. So people have the ability to click and go and dive deeper. But in reality, you need to look at what your potential readers, clients, customers might be searching for. What are the questions that they would be putting into AI? All of those tools that you sank money into to make sure your SEO was the top, now kind of reframe it. And again, look at it from a question perspective. What questions do you want to be the answer for? Build that into your content.
Build authoritatively, people. Instagram's CEO confirmed that people are using the platforms as a search engine. TikTok is Gen Z's top discovery channel. LinkedIn is optimizing for knowledge and insights queries. You've said that SEO now means social engine optimization, not just search. Walk me through the complete rebuild of a brand's discoverability, Ms. Sarah.
Walking through a whole brand's discoverability. Well, that's a little bit, because I focus solely on books and book marketing and building that personal brand. I can't say exactly what a brand should do to rebuild everything, but I think it needs to go back to a couple of different factors. Some of them are going to be what we've been talking about, consistency in messaging. But beyond that, you need to look at social proof. Okay, what are the testimonies, feedback, reviews of your business or your book or your content that are coming back in that are readable by AI? Do you have that social proof that is going to bolster up your claims? So, it's taking a look at those things. It's looking at, if, for example, if you put out a book and you're looking at the reviews that have come up on Amazon, that content is now informing how AI is feeding others. So you want to be looking at, how can I get more of that? How can I get more of those social proof? When you're taking a look at your brand and those tactics that didn't used to work anymore, then you have to look at, okay, why, don't worry about what is working now. Worry about the one-to-one relationship with your reader, your customer, your client. Talk to them, find out how they are discovering things. Ask them, what are they missing? By getting a little bit of that market research back, you're going to be able to shape your new strategies. But don't assume that you can do what you did 3 or 4 years ago and it would still help you. A lot of the strategies, particularly in publishing, are not working any longer. So in order to get to those readers, you really have to understand how they consume content now.
Miss Sarah, as a book marketing expert, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
My personal ones or ones for our company?
Can we do both?
Sure, absolutely. So I think for book launchers as a whole, I mean, our mission actually hasn't changed. It's always to be the first choice for authors when they want to publish that book. Few years ago, traditional publishing seemed like the only avenue. Then self-publishing came around, but now there's a million ways to do it. But really, for book launchers, our goal is always to be someone's first choice for publishing, because they know they're going to get that top quality book, that one that stands out in the marketplace due to the insight, the positioning, the cover, the design, the presentation, all of it. So that has always been our major goal. And I think beyond that, what we are really focused on right now is all the things that we've been discussing: answer engine optimization, how to ensure authority for our authors. What are the pieces that we can put in place that are going to take someone from relatively unknown to being recognized as a trusted expert? And so that's what all of our work is towards. We've actually just launched our Author Launch Kit marketing software, which is software that is meant to take the guesswork out of creating a marketing plan for authors. And it is all built around that idea of discoverability and building authority. So Author Launch Kit, seeing that come to light and then being able to see how it impacts authors, I mean, that is just the best part of my day. Absolutely.
Yes, definitely the best part of your life, and good luck to your goals, and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Be like me. Well, honestly, if you want to be like me, put forth the energy to work with great people. Make sure that the people you surround yourself with are ones that share your values, your goals, and also see value within you. I can say that working for Book Launchers has been the privilege of my life because there is a great team behind it, a team that I respect, a team that I feel comfortable to, challenge at times, or to challenge myself to step back and listen to them. So when you work for an organization like that, it just takes the work out of your work. So I recommend everybody surround yourself by great people where you share a vision, and it's going to make everything so much better.
Yes, indeed. Tell me your friends, and I will tell you who you are.
Hmm.
So, thank you for that empowering advice, Miss Sarah. And, well, as a book marketing expert, can you please recommend a book that influenced your journey?
Oh, goodness. I think the last time I talked about On Writing by Stephen King, which is one of my absolute favorites. I think some of the other ones that really impact me, Radical Candor, was a book that really made me look at how I manage and lead others. It made me think quite a bit about my approach and how I view other members on my team. So Radical Candor by Kim Scott was definitely one that impacted me greatly.
Thank you for that recommended book, Miss Sarah. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in third season, and my book 101 review in sixth season as well. Comedy 101 in fourth season, and food 101 in sixth season too. Geography 101 love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 fifth season, science 101, sex 101 in fourth season, Spiritual Awakening, Trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and Bible Verses 101 on my baby podcast. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Sarah, every one of these 7 steps requires patience, consistency, and willingness to play a long game, while the rest of your industry by short-term reach. You're asking a business owners to do harder work, community management, social SEO, content pruning, strategic partnership, while the competitors are running meta ads. How do you sustain your own conviction when the compulsion to just spend $50 a day and see what happens is so seductive?
You asked me how to you know what? Always stay
Yes.
true to those goals, right? Look at your original reason for why you are writing a book, launching a business, or doing what you do. That goal usually comes from a heart-centered purpose. And so ensuring that you stick to that is going to help you make those marketing decisions. You can look at, oh, maybe I'm going to go, invest $50 in my social media ads, but in reality, what is the best ROI you could possibly get out of that? Focus instead on why you're doing it, and then choose strategies that align right there. Don't get distracted by all the shiny things that are out there.
Yes, yes, yes. Focus, people. Focus, relax, take a deep breath, and do what is good for you. Yes. And
Mhm.
thank you, Miss Sarah. Thank you once again for your knowledge and wisdom that you shared to us. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever project that you're doing right now?
Absolutely. So recommend you check out booklaunchers.com/7 steps to get tips on how to write that business book. And beyond that, I encourage you to reach out and check out authorlaunchkit.com and check out our book marketing software. Thank you so much, Daniel, for having me on today. It was great to chat with you again.
No worries, Miss Sarah. Thank you likewise for bringing us clarification and wisdom to your expertise. And I'm inviting you again to please do come over to my Entrepreneurship 101 and let's talk about entrepreneurship mindset.
Would love that. Thank you so much.
You are most welcome. Yes, people, let's support Miss Sarah Bean because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering books will publish. So, Miss Sarah, thank you so much for your time.
Have a great day.
More to come, people. See you soon.